I've forgotten how to sleep. Last night I lay there, trapped between the promise of rest and the gnawing buzz of a mind that wouldn't shut off. My room was shrouded in darkness, and the weight of every creak and whisper in the old house pressed down around me. I used to find the hum of the night comforting. Now, it felt like a stranger breathing down my neck, reminding me of every fear and failure I thought I'd left behind. It started with the little things. A flicker of light from the street outside, spilling through the blinds just so, casting shadows across the walls that seemed to shift and writhe. I told myself it was a car passing by, a branch bending in the breeze. But when it happened again and again, each shadow more twisted, more wrong than the last, I started to feel the edges of my sanity fray. I'd heard stories of sleep paralysis, the kind where you wake up and can't move, trapped in your own body. But this was different. I wasn't paralyzed. I wasn't asleep. I was wide awake, staring into a darkness that seemed to stare back, feeling the cold seep into my bones. It was around 3 a.m. when the humming started, a low, insistent drone from somewhere beyond my walls. It was faint, just on the edge of hearing, but I could feel it vibrating in my chest, like a pulse, a heartbeat. I sat up, ears straining, trying to place the source. My phone buzzed, and I jumped. Hard hammering, a text. It was from a friend, someone I hadn't spoken to in months. You ever get that feeling like someone's watching you? I stared at the message, a chill crawling down my spine. The house was silent, except for the low hum that seemed to grow louder with each passing second. My fingers hovered over the screen, but I couldn't bring myself to type a reply. What could I even say? The thought had crossed my mind 100 times that night. When I finally forced myself to lie back down, I kept my eyes fixed on the ceiling, refusing to look at the shadows pulling in the corners of the room. I'd heard once that if you ignored something long enough, it might just go away. But that's the thing about the dark. It doesn't go away. It just settles, waits, and in the dead of night, when you're alone and staring at the ceiling, it creeps closer. The humming kept going, growing louder, almost like it was coming from inside my skull. I could feel it reverberate in my teeth, throbbing with a rhythm that felt uncomfortably close to my own heartbeat. I pulled the covers up to my chin, like a kid trying to hide from the monster under the bed. But even that small gesture made me feel ridiculous. This was my own room, my own mind, betraying me. Minutes dragged on. I tried breathing exercises, counting backwards from 100. Nothing worked. My thoughts started to unravel, tumbling over each other. Why can't I sleep? Why does it feel like I'm forgetting something important? Then, it hit me. Every night for as long as I could remember, I'd slept with my bedroom door slightly cracked open, just enough so I could see the faint glow of the hallway nightlight filtering in. It had always been a comfort, but now, as I glanced over, I realized my door was shut. I knew I hadn't closed it. I hadn't even left my bed. My skin prickled, goosebumps crawling up my arms. Rational explanations flitted through my mind, a draft, maybe, or a trick of my memory. But as I lay there, straining to hear anything beyond that insistent humming, I started to feel like something was on the other side of that door, waiting for me to make a move. I reached for my phone, my hand trembling. 3:03 a.m. Just seeing the time made me shiver. I could have sworn I'd read somewhere that 3 a.m. was the witching hour, the time when the veil between worlds was thin. I tried to shake off the thought, blaming it on to many horror movies. But then, a soft scratching sound came from the other side of the door, just a single, hesitant scrape, like a nail dragged slowly against wood. My heart stuttered. I held my breath, ears straining, hoping I'd imagined it. But the scratching came again, and again, slowly, methodically. My phone buzzed. Another text from my friend. Are you awake? My fingers shook as I typed back. Yeah, why are you texting me at 3 a.m.? The dots popped up, signaling they were typing. I waited, feeling like each second was stretching out into eternity. Finally, the reply came through. I don't know. I just felt like you needed to stay awake. My blood ran cold. What kind of answer was that? I stared at the screen, willing another message to appear, but the dots were gone. Just silence. The scratching outside my door grew louder, more frantic, as if whatever was out there knew I was still awake, and it was getting impatient. I lay there, paralyzed, listening to that scratching. My pulse pounded in my ears, drowning out the low hum, but it couldn't drown out the frantic, clawing noise. It was getting louder, sharper. Whatever was out there wasn't just waiting, it was trying to get in. My phone buzzed again, startling me. I glanced down at the screen, and this time, the message wasn't from my friend. Are you alone? There was no contact name, no number, nothing. Just those 3 words on the screen. My hand tightened around the phone as I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was spam, a glitch, some messed up prank. But the scratching stopped. The silence was somehow worse. A thick, suffocating quiet that pressed in from all sides. I felt my skin prickle, like every inch of me was aware of something lurking just beyond my field of vision. I didn't dare look at the door, afraid of what I might see if I did. Then came a faint whisper. It was so soft. I couldn't tell if it was real or a trick of my mind, but it was closer than the door, closer than the walls. It sounded like it was right next to my ear. Are you alone? My chest tightened, every instinct in my body screaming at me not to move, not to breathe, not to acknowledge it. I clenched my eyes shut, trying to retreat into my own mind, but the whisper came again, a little louder, a little clearer. Are you alone? I didn't answer. I couldn't. I felt like if I so much as whispered, it would invite something that didn't belong in my room, in my world. My hand crept toward the edge of the bed, as if reaching for some invisible comfort, but the second I moved, I heard it, a soft, guttural sigh, like whatever was there had noticed. I lay frozen, every muscle in my body tense, but the sigh came again, this time from the foot of my bed. I could feel a presence, heavy and wrong, hovering just out of sight. My heart hammered in my chest, so loud I was afraid it would give me away. I could almost feel it inching closer, a darkness pressing in around me. My phone buzzed again. I didn't want to look, but against every instinct, I turned my head just enough to see the screen. Another message, from that same blank number. I can see you. I felt a cold chill spread through me. I wanted to scream, to throw my phone, to do anything but lay there, paralyzed. But that was when the bed shifted. The mattress dipped, like someone was sitting at the foot of it, pressing their weight down. I could feel the depression slowly moving, crawling up the length of the bed, closer and closer to where I lay. I gripped the sheets, praying that if I kept still, if I kept silent, it would just go away. But as I lay there, feeling the weight draw nearer, I realized that this thing, whatever it was, wasn't leaving.